This right here, what people are saying about us to the Alabama players, this should be enough motivation. Okay, so if you couldn't tell, sorry, I have invested into a whiteboard this offseason. Now, I am super excited because we're going to be using this bad boy all throughout the season. I think it's going to be a staple of the channel. Now, let me close this door so we can lock in and get down to business. We'll get to this in just a second. Now, I know what you're sitting there saying. Yo, man, this is supposed to be a hype video, Alabama hype video, whatever you titled it, whatever this is, blah, 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 blah. What in the crap is going on? Well, my friend, there's a great question, and I have an even better answer. I thought about it. I was this close to doing some hyped up intro, throwing in the clips from the LSU game where we lost, throwing in what all these naysayers are saying about us, blah, 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 all that bull crap. I thought about doing that. But obviously, as you can tell, not doing that. I just want to get straight to the point. I want to make this clear. This is going to be a hype video, and you'll see why. See that word right there? Dominate. That's going to be the word of week 1. Week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't care if that's going to be the word of this year. That's going to be the word just of everything. Dominate, dominate, dominate. Let me get my point across because I don't think a lot of y'all feel me. Is that better? Last year for the Alabama standard, which is the gold standard, it was astronomically embarrassing. I thought our team played pitiful at times. I thought they had an entitlement attitude. They thought based off of previous years that they could just walk in with the Alabama brand, the Alabama logo, the Alabama jersey, and teams were just going to lay down and say, oh, you're Alabama. Guess we got to let y'all win. And that didn't happen. We saw it a lot last year. And it wasn't just the losses. I'm not even referring to the Tennessee and LSU games. Those aren't the games I'm necessarily mad about because I thought LSU played a heck of a game. And I thought Tennessee did the same thing as well. I wasn't even too upset about those games because sometimes you got to tip your cap to the other team and say, hey, they played a great ball game. What I was upset about last year was we lacked the dog-like mentality. What I was upset with last year is we didn't dominate. Ever since Nick Saban arrived at Alabama in 2007, we dominated. Did we suffer some losses here and there? Yeah, but for the most part, I'd say we dominated. The problem with last year was we started giving teams hope. We somehow, some way, I don't know if it can happen, I don't know if it will happen, but if we want to be the Alabama of the past 15 years, we got to get back to putting fear, striking fear into our opponent's eyes. I used to play for a head coach, and I would say that he had some Nick Saban tendencies. And I remember going into halftime, we was up by like 20, and you know how it goes. We're all cutting up in the locker room laughing. And he walked into the locker room one time, and he wasn't happy whatsoever. He said, guys, in the third quarter, we got to go out there and step on their necks. Don't give them a single ounce of hope. Because what happens is if you're up on a team by 20 and in the third quarter you lay off the gas and they hit a couple of threes or they get a touchdown, whatever sport you're playing, they start to believe, hey, you know what? We're only down by 10 points. We're only down by 12 points. We can beat this team. And hope is a very dangerous thing, ladies and gentlemen, because when a team gets hope, they start to believe. And when they start to believe, they can win. So getting back on track here, that's why dominate's the word of this team, the word of the year. We got to dominate. What I saw last year, that wasn't dominating. I could talk about dominating for the last 15, 20 minutes, but this goes for you too. You should want to dominate every single day in every aspect of your life. It doesn't matter if I'm playing ping pong, cornhole, table tennis, water polo, lacrosse. I'm going to dominate, or at least I'm going to try to. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to throw up a Nick Saban quote. I don't even think a lot of people know this quote from old Saban. Ran out of room there. It takes what it takes. No plagiarism around here, baby. Nick Saban. Now I know what you're sitting there saying, yo, Matt, okay, what does this mean? What are you referring to? It takes what it takes. What does that mean? And I hate to sound like a cornball here, but it means what it means. It takes what it takes. A lot of the people in life, they think there's some secret sauce to winning, to achieving greatness, achieving this, achieving that. They think all these 1%ers out here, they think all these top athletes, they have some secret formula. But in reality, there is no secret formula. It takes what it takes. If you want to be great, if you want to be the best team in America, if you want to be the gold standard, it takes what it takes. And last year, guess what? We didn't give what it took. So we didn't achieve anything. Oh, Matt, well, y'all won 11 games, you won 10 games, blah, blah. That's not the standard. Maybe that's the standard for your team, but it ain't the standard for Alabama. Don't even get me going on that. It takes what it takes. Make them quit. Now this one I really like because it ties hand in hand with our focal point of this video and the hype video, dominate. What happened last year? Alabama, we lost to Tennessee 52-49, but it's actually bigger than that itself because Tennessee has gotten over the hump, which essentially means they actually believe they can beat Bama on a regular basis. So this is really the principle that comes after dominating. But while you're dominating, it's not just good enough to dominate, make them quit. You got to make them quit, and this is why I love Kirby Smart just as much as Nick Saban, because this is actually one of his mottos, and I think he says this time after time. We don't make teams quit anymore. At least we didn't last year, and we didn't either the year before that. What I'm talking about is once we get up by 14, 17 points, we need to install in all these opponents' minds that, man, we just can't compete with these guys, and they quit. But yet again, we can't make teams quit because they have hope. No team last year feared Alabama, and that leads me into my next point perfectly. The fear factor. Messed up that R, but I messed up both of them, but whatever. The fear factor. I remember growing up all throughout middle school and high school, and when I'm not even talking about players, but I remember when I was going to school with all these Georgia, all these Florida, LSU, Tennessee fans, when they knew they had to play Alabama in that up-and-coming week, they would actually be like, oh my gosh, we're probably going to lose that game. This Alabama team, they're way too good. And that's also how the opponents on the other team felt as well. Alabama had the fear factor for years, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, I don't think we have it anymore. Not even just from the players I talk to on a regular basis, but from the fans. I don't even think fans are scared of Alabama. I'm being dead serious. I remember growing up when it was Alabama-Tennessee week, all Tennessee fans were like, oh man, I just hope we can keep it within 14 points. But now, no, now that's not their motto. Now Tennessee fans are like, oh yeah, we're probably going to beat Bama by 14 plus points. We got to establish that. Now I could sit up here all day and give you all these points, but here's the last one. Last point, and we're going to end off the video. Hopefully the whiteboard's close enough. If not, I'll correct that next time we use it. So first things first, we got the typical, oh, the dynasty's over. We have this conversation every 4 to 5 years. Then we got Bama, fell off, same thing there. And I love this one. This one was my favorite. Nick Saban's lost his touch. Here's my biggest question with all these ESPN nerds that sit up here and say this crap. And by the way, ESPN, here's my number for future reference. Yeah, so if you want me to sell out, that's my number, 50 mil, but that's besides the point. So back to what I was saying with all these nerds that work for ESPN and all these media people and just everybody talks about it. Do you actually believe, and even fans, I'm asking y'all, do y'all actually believe any of this BS? Because it's not true. I'm not even here to debate that. Whether that's true or not, whether anybody actually believes any of that, that's up to you. Really don't care. My point is, and why I've written this on the whiteboard, is because I want to use this as motivation and fuel. This right here, what people are saying about us to the Alabama players, this should be enough motivation. I could sit up here all day and talk about Alabama football and just everything people said about us in the offseason and all that jibber jabber. But I've always been a person where I believe talk is cheap. I just want to let my game do the talking. And it's the same thing for Alabama. I really don't have too much more to say. I just want to let our game do the talking. That's all I got to say. To everybody doubting us, keep that same energy. It is what it is. There's our record in the top left. This is our week 1 victim, MTSU. I'm sorry, MTSU, but you're going to have to get it as work. But this is what I really want to focus on right here, victim. Everybody that comes into Bryant-Denny Stadium, or no, scratch that. Everybody that has us on the schedule, I want them thinking they're the victim. I want these teams thinking, dang, man, we got to play Alabama. That team, man, whew, we don't want to play them. We want teams thinking they're victims. But anyways, like I was saying, I'm done talking. Let's get this show down the road. I will see y'all, next week. I'll see y'all week 1. You know I'm going to do a bunch of live reactions. Let me know if you like the addition of the whiteboard, but yeah. All right.